Hello everyone and welcome to a new video here on You Mad Bros. Today we are continuing our tier list series with a full tier list of all generation 3 Pokemon from Pokemon Emerald, Ruby and Sapphire. Now please bear in mind this is one of the only generations I have never actually completed of Pokemon. I did not own a Game Boy Advance as a kid and I've only recently purchased one for myself now that I have been spending more money. And I have recently started my first ever full playthrough of Pokemon Emerald. I have dabbled in it a little bit in the past on emulators and stuff like that, but I've never gotten all the way to the end. The first playthrough I ever did it a few months ago on the emulator, I did get to I think the 6th or so gym using a Combuskin. But on this one, currently, I am now, I think I've beaten 2 of the gyms. I may have just beaten a third. I can't remember if I'm on the 2nd or the 3rd gym, but I am using a Trico on this run. And I have obviously seen most of these Pokemon when they have appeared in future releases of Pokemon games as well, so I do know the names of at least half of these Pokemon, so I can justifiably put them in some places on the tier list. But as per the usual, we have God tier, which is the best tier, going down to mid, which is the middle tier. These are Pokemon that aren't really good, aren't really bad, they're just kind of what you expect from Pokemon. And then all the way down to bargain bin tier, which we will only put the absolute worst of the worst Pokemon that I hate. I'll be factoring both luck, how good they are in combat, and also personal stories into the equation. So if I have a really good personal story, a really bad Pokemon might end up in S tier just because I have a really good experience with the Pokemon or some funny stories to do with why I put them that high. But let's get right into the tier list. Starting with the free starters. In my opinion, one of the weaker generations. I don't know if that's controversial or not, but in my opinion, one of the weaker generation of starters. I don't really like the end evolutions of any across the line here. I really like all their first and some of their second stages, but their last evolutions I think are just really ugly, like the humanoid kind of characters, especially this one. I was really sad because Torchic was the one I chose, and I really loved the first evolution. Second one I thought was going in the kind of wrong direction, and then the third just looks very, very ugly when you think of how adorable this one is. Similar for Trico, where first evolution, really, really adorable. Second one, I thought actually looked quite clean and sleek. I don't really like the weird tail they've got going on this one, but the third one isn't terrible. And then Mudkip, going through to Mash Stomp, I believe it's called. Just, the second evolution especially looks really derp, like really ugly. And then the third one I think fixed it a little, but still not great across the board. Anyway, let's get right into it. On my most recent playthrough, I'm currently using a Trico. I do really like Trico. He's not overly useful near the start of it, but I do really like Trico. I'd say I'd put him in a nice high A tier. He's a good starter. He's a pretty good grass type. This is one of the only generations where I'd say the grass type is my preferred out of the 3. But yes, I do enjoy some Trico. Trico is very good. Its evolution I have only just got, so I've not got a real chance to test it in combat yet. But I don't mind it. Its evolution, I'd say, is also in A tier. Nowhere near as high in A tier. It'd be like a low A tier when we get more stuff in A tier. But it's good. I don't mind it. It is quite a good Pokemon. Its final stage, I don't really like at all. I'll put that in mid tier. I don't know what it's called yet because I haven't got one. But I don't really like where this is going. I'd rather keep it at this. But if it's good in combat, that might bump it up to a B. But as it currently stands, it does not look like I'm going to enjoy having that Pokemon. Especially those weird spots on its back. I don't know what they even are plant related. Torchic. Torchic is my favourite of the 3 starters in terms of look of the first evolution. I would put Torchic in S tier. I really, really like Torchic. Really powerhousey at the start of the run. Absolutely slaps. But evolution-wise, not very good. Combuskin. Don't really like the look, but in terms of combat usage, it is incredible. I remember absolutely steamrolling the first few gyms when I played this on an emulator a few months ago. Learned so many good fighting and fire moves and just absolutely ran through the first couple of gyms. Did not have any critique with how it was in battle. I just solely don't like its design. It looks pretty ugly. I don't like the weird free feathers it gets or the weird way it gets really fat legs but really skinny arms. Like its proportions are all just weird. And its final evolution I think's a bit better in terms of look, but I don't know. Something about it, it's just, I don't like, it doesn't look like the same Pokemon anymore, which drops it down a bit. Yeah, I've not used it to actually say how good it is or not yet, but it's just, I don't like the look of it. It has really long hair, looks just more like a human doing like cosplay than an actual Pokemon. Mudkip, like Mudkip a fair amount. Probably my least favourite out of the 3, but I do really like Mudkip. Only like a bit less than Trico. I've not used it yet in combat, but it looks kind of cool. This is an ugly Pokemon. This is a very, I might put this in E tier, that is a very ugly Pokemon. I don't know. It looks like if I attempted to draw this standing up with my very bad drawing skills, this would be about how I draw it. It's like very, very poor. This fixes it a lot. This does fix it quite a fair bit. I'd probably put this about there-ish. Okay, so that's roughly the placement of the stars. Fairly meh across the board for a generation. First evolutions, all good. They smacked out of the park with the first generations. I mean, the evolutions. But second and third evolutions across the board, I don't really like, apart from this one, which I can't quite remember the name of. But overall, just a very meh generation compared to the previous two. And then we get Pooch Hyena and Might Hyena. I really like dogs. Dogs are my favorite animal on the planet, so any dog Pokemon is going to get more points for that book. In terms of combat, he is absolutely horrendous. I've tried him on both playthroughs. I always pick him just because I go with looks and how much I like the Pokemon over how good they are in combat. But I have to overlevel this to absolute hell to make him even remotely viable. The first two gyms so far, he has not helped at all. He usually gets either 1-bombed or 2-bombed, and his tackles and bites do very little damage unless you howl like 3 or 4 times beforehand, which is very hard to set up when you're against Pokemon that are hitting hard. But I usually go for design a lot more than I go for how good they are in combat, so I would put it in a decently high A tier, but apart from that, very bad. Its evolution, on the other hand, its stats have gotten a lot better, considerably better. I would put this in S tier. Might Hyena is a very nice Pokemon. I would love to see it in shiny. I never look at what the shinies look like. I just hunt for them in shiny and get my first reaction when I do that. Do let me know as well if you guys do want to see any shiny hunting videos on the channel. I don't know when I will get around to making them, but I have thought if the most recent Pokemon content I'm doing in terms of the Nuzlocke and stuff is getting a lot of views and quite a few subscribers, which is very much appreciated. So I have thought if you guys are enjoying the Pokemon content, since it seems like that is where most of my subscribers are coming from lately, then I will most likely take suggestions on more Pokemon content, whether that's shiny hunting, I could do that on stream perhaps, stuff like that. So if you guys do want to see more content like that, then feel free to let me know. I could definitely hunt for some shinies or do more streams of Pokemon, that kind of thing. Zigzagoon and Linoon. Not been a big fan of these. A high mid, I'd say, but just, I'd say it's a bit higher than that, but not quite as high as that, maybe. It's a nice Pokemon. It looks fine. It's adorable. It's just, even though Bidoof came out later, I still find Zigzagoon an off-brand Bidoof. I don't know what it is. Linoon, I believe you're called. Again, you just look kind of weird. I don't like you as much as the first evolution, but yeah, got nothing against Linoon. Wurmple, surprisingly, I like Wurmple quite a lot. I don't know what it is about Wurmple. I have always quite liked the look of Wurmple. I do have a shiny Wurmple on Pokemon Arceus. I don't have a screenshot of it anymore since it has evolved, but I do have a picture of what it looks like fully evolved now into the Dustox and Beautifly. I have got both. So I do have 2 shiny Wurmples that I caught while playing through Pokemon Arceus, because the shinies in that game are incredibly common. But I do have those 2, which do look beautiful. Actually, I might have a picture of the Wurmple. I might have a picture of Wurmple. Silcoon or Castform. I think you're Castform. I think the slightly pinker one's Silcoon. Castform. No, it's just like an egg. Bit better than this, 100% more appealing than this, but no. Beautifly, very, very solid Pokemon. Very high up. Don't put it as high as Trico, I don't think. That's tough, actually. I'd probably put you height of 8. I do really like Beautifly. Beautifly's nice. And then Silcoon, again, just not really that nice. I don't really like it. I can't decide which one I like out of these 2 more. They both look kind of meh. I'd probably say I like Castform a bit more. And then again, Dustox, just a really nice bug type. I like them both pretty much equally. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about these 2. These 2 are just 2 pretty clean Pokemon. The shinies, not very good of Dustox. It's very little change in terms of colour. It just looks like kind of dim. The shiny Beautifly, I remember being a bit better, but still not a huge change. I would much prefer if it was the pink one from the anime, but apart from that, nah. Lotad, Lombre, and I don't know what this one's called. It's just pretty meh again. Like, it's a high D, but it's just kind of meh. Lotad, I think, was a step down again. Again, it just looks kind of derp. And then its evolution is, I'd say, a step down again. In fact, they probably just go in a straight line down, to be fair. Like, I just think they're about the same, but they get slightly worse. C. Dot, Nuzleaf, and Teeth Tree. I can't know what this one's called. My brain's picturing Shift Tree. My brain's picturing the word. I just can't enunciate. C. Dot, very bad stat wise. Looks fine. It's a nice little acorn, but apart from that, just bleh. You look a bit better, but you still look more like something in a fighting game than you'd find in a Pokemon game. Hi Dieter. And then you look pretty cool, to be fair. You look a bit better. Probably put you at the height of mid. I'll put you in a low B. You're an alright Pokemon. This is the flying type I'm currently sticking with on this run. I really like it. It's just what you'd expect from a flying type. It's a nice clean flying type. Talo, I believe you're called, and then I can't remember what the evolution's called because I've only just evolved it and I've only had a chance to look at it for a few minutes. But I am liking it. I am liking it a lot. I'd say a high A, and then I'd probably put S tier for its evolution. I think Swallow. Talo and Swallow, perhaps, I think. I'm trying to remember what you're called. It's a very small sprite as well. Yeah, very solid across the board. They are powerhousing it. Even during the electric gym, their quick attacks were still coming in clutch. This actually took out half of the electric gym by itself in that generation, just through quick attacking the first two Pokemon to death before they had a chance to hit back. I did overlevel it a lot. Wingull and Pelipper. I for some reason thought they were Generation 4, but they seem like they're Generation 3. Again, very meh. It's just a mid. It's not really a Pokemon, it is just a seagull. They didn't really take any... Usually they take an animal or an object and kind of twist it a bit, make it look more Pokemon-y, but with this one it is literally just a cartoon seagull. Like, there's not really much creativity on this one. It's fine though, like, it's okay. It's not great. I probably wouldn't put it higher than these, to be fair. Pelipper is a step up, but not much of a step up. I'd probably put it a slightly higher mid. Ralts, Kirlia, and Gardevoir. These are three iconic Pokemon, especially Gardevoir, for reasons. Ralts, never really liked Ralts, but it's fine. It just looks kind of meh. It's just kind of like small. I don't know. I'd probably put it a low mid, maybe a in between mid, about there. Kirlia looks a bit better, but still not much better. And then Gardevoir is a very pretty Pokemon. Gardevoir is quite a nice Pokemon. The kind of humanoid that I don't mind from a Pokemon, it still doesn't look human. It still looks Pokemon-y. But it is very human, which I don't like as much. But it is the best of the three. Probably put it in the height of mid. It's fine. I've never actually had one on my team. I do have one on Pokemon Go. I believe I have a shiny one on Pokemon Go. But it's fine. It's meh. Oh, my brain is trying to picture what you're called. It begins with an S, right? It's not Skitty, because that's Skitty. It reminds me of the name Skitty, but I can't think of why. You're just kind of an underwater spider. It's just, yeah, you just kind of exist. Actually, it's not better than that. God, it's going down. Yeah, about there. I don't know what you're called, but I remember seeing you, but I'll put you in a low one just because I don't know what you're called. Never used you, never seen you in game. You're just kind of, I know you exist, but I can't think from where I've seen you. Maybe Shield. Yeah, about there. Yeah, that's about right. Shroomish and Beldum. Shroomish, I recently tried catching on the Nuzlocke. If you guys are watching the Nuzlocke, on one of the episodes we did run into a Shroomish. Unfortunately, didn't manage to catch it. This would have been quite a nice grass Pokemon to have on the team. First evolution, really don't like the way it looks. It looks very ugly. A bit better than this, but not that good still. Beldum, quite a nice Pokemon. It looks like something you'd find in Pikmin. High B, not as good as that one, but a decently high B. Slack off and slacking. I'm trying to think what you're called. It's not just called Sloth, is it? Sloth, slack off, and slacking. I don't know. He's fine. He's mid. He's very mid. About there in mid. And then you, I like less. You look like something out of Donkey Kong. And then I like you for the meme factor, but again, you're not very good. Ninkada, Ninjask, and Shedinja. To be fair, for a generation I've not played, I do remember majority of the names, which is good. You're just a nice little bug. Not really cool, not really viable in combat, but you're just a nice little bug. I like that you've got 2 evolutions. I don't like how you have to evolve them. I think you've got to get this to like 1 HP, if I recall, to evolve it into the Shedinja. Very weird. Ninjask looks pretty cool. Never used one, but it looks pretty cool. About there, and then Shedinja, I like how it has 1 HP, and it's it can only be hurt by very specific types, but it is very, very annoying when you come up against the Shedinja if you don't have a type that can hit it, especially when doing a Nuzlocke run. I can imagine that would be hell if my whole team can't hit it and you end up getting wiped by a Shedinja. That would be terrible. You could maybe stall it and let its PP go down enough that it eventually has to flail and hurt itself, but I don't really want to do that. About there, about the same. Whismer, Loudoud, and Amploud. I'm trying to... No, Amploud, Loudoud. I don't know. I've never caught any of these 3. We're getting to the bit now where I don't really know much about these 5. This, I really hate the design of. That's probably going in F tier. I really hate the design of this. Loudroud, I can't remember which one you are. I think you're Loudroud. Alright. It's not great looking. Not bad looking. About that. You look a bit better. Amploud, I think you're called. Bit better, bit better, bit better. Bit better, bit better, bit better, bit better. About there. Makuhita and something. I can't think what you're called either. Again, no, very ugly Pokemon. Just looks like a very poor drawing of Pokemon. You as well. I might like you even less. You're just an ugly Pokemon. You look like you're wearing a big skirt. A sumo wrestler's not really something I would picture as inspiration for a Pokemon. In a game about cute animals, a sumo wrestler's probably the last thing I would think of when I was thinking of something to turn into a cute Pokemon. Azumarill. Or is it Azurill? I think this is Azurill. Azurill, Marill, Azumarill, yeah. Azurill, for those of you that watched the previous Generation 2 tier list, you will see I put Azumarill in God tier, and it's not much different for its pre-evolutions. I do really like this whole evolution line. I would probably put this at the higher best tier. I don't know what it is about it, I just find it really adorable. Nosepass is a Pokemon I don't really think should have been a Pokemon. It's funny, but it's just really ugly as a even in like the anime. It just looks really wrong whenever it's on screen. About there. Skitty and Delcatty. There are a lot of Pokemon in this gen. Looking at it, I feel like we're only like halfway through this. Skitty. It's just a cat. It's not really anything original. It's just a nice looking cat. About a bit better than... Actually, no, about there, I'd say. Delcatty's a bit nicer, but not much nicer. Yeah, about there. Sableye. I've never really liked Sableye. I don't know what it is about him. I've just always very much ignored Sableye. I've never really been a fan. About there. Just no. Mawile, I believe you're called. You do look... I like your idea. You're a cool concept. Look, I think could have been a bit better, but overall you look pretty cool. Bit better than these. Probably not as good as that. Actually, no, a bit better than you. About equal with that, actually. About there. Aron. I don't know what these are called. I'm currently using an Aron on the team I currently have going on my emulator now. I currently have one of these on my team. It's not evolved yet. It seems to have a very high evolution level. I think it's level 26 or 28 I've got it leveled up to currently, and it still hasn't evolved. I don't know if I've got to do anything specific to it, but it's a very high evolution level, it seems. Very, very weak in combat at the minute. Very good defense, but very minimal damage. I've tried using Headbutt, Rock Tomb, all that. It's not really doing much. I don't know if I've just got a really poor stat version, but it's not doing much. But I love the whole design of this evolution line, especially these. These look very cool. So for this, I would put this in a B tier. For its evolution, I would probably put that in a high B tier, probably around there. And then for its final evolution, this is a very nice Pokemon. I would put this higher than that for sure. Bit higher, about there. To be fair, why is this in A tier? I'm looking back at this now that I'm fully organising this better. I don't know why you're up here. I would move you down below all of these. Actually, below Gardevoir. I was a bit generous when I gave that a high tier, considering how much I don't like this Pokemon. In combat, it's fantastic. In just, I think the look brings it down too much. You can go a bit lower, about there-ish. Yeah, about there. Okay, that's a bit better. I agree with this more. Meditite and Medicham. Again, I thought these were Generation 4. Never really liked it. Always thought it was a pretty bad Pokemon. I have a shiny version of this. I'm trying to think where. I believe it's on Pokemon Go. Actually, I think it was on Pixelmon. I think it was on the Minecraft mod Pixelmon. I think that's where I had that. Sadly, they do reset the servers on there every few months, so you do lose all your Pokemon, so I no longer have any evidence that I caught that, but I believe the shiny was on the Pixelmon server. Yeah, just a pretty bad Pokemon overall. Bit better than that, but again, it looks just off. Bit better when it evolves, but still just kind of off. Electike and... Oh, that was just in the gym. I can't picture what its name is. I can picture him throwing it out and saying the name in my head. I'm just trying to think about how it's written. Electike. I believe that's what you're called. Very good. In terms of dog Pokemon, it's one of my least favourite dog-looking Pokemon, but I like it. And then evolution, I do really like its evolution. It is quite a clean look. Put it a bit higher. Plusle and Minum, or Minum and Plusum, don't know which one they're going. I think this one's Plusum. Good. They're both just good. Not really anything to say about these. They're both just good. They're about the same. I like the red one a bit more, but they're both just alright. Not good in combat. I hope they get an evolution at some point similar to Pikachu. That could be quite cool. But yeah, I quite like it. They're alright. Alamise and... Oh, I said the name of these before I started the recording while I was skimming down the list. Damn it. Alamise and something else. Alamise. I can't quite think. Either way, not a Pokemon I'm very fond of. I would put them very low down. No, bit higher than that. And a bit lower than that. Bit lower than you, bit lower than you, bit lower than you. Bit lower than Cedar, actually. Bit higher than that, though. And then you're much worse. I don't like the pink look on you. About there, dairy, there, yeah, about there. Actually, I've been a bit harsh on you, to be fair. Put you there, put you there. About there. Roselia. I really like Roselia. Roselia is one of my favourite grass types. I love Roselia. I would probably put you all the way up in S tier. Was my main grass type and still is whenever I play through Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I really, really love it. Would put you at a very, very high S tier, to be fair. If your final evolution was in this generation, I would definitely put you up here in God tier, but for now, you will stay down here. I am surprisingly using this on my team. Is it Swallow and... Swallow? I can't remember what you're called. I'm using one on my team, but I've literally just caught it, and it's just fought its first battle. It's Gulpin, and I swear it's Swallow. Well then, anyway, Gulpin goes... I don't like either of it. I just wanted to try a new Pokemon this time around, but I don't really like either its evolution lines. Looks a bit like Olimar if you just kind of took the helmet off and smushed his head down a bit and kind of painted him green. Reminds me very much of Olimar. Worse. Worse. Better than you for sure. And its evolution's a bit funnier, but still looks pretty bad. About there, I'd say. Carvana and Sharpedo. Or Sharpedo, either. Good water type. Nice solid design for a water type. Nothing too crazy, but just a nice little water type. Its evolution as well looks pretty cool. I wouldn't say I like it as much as the first, but I think it kind of, if it kept the little yellow kind of sharp spikes, I feel like it'd be nice. Like if it had, like the fin was more like the yellow kind of electric-y look on the front and sides, I feel like this would be a lot better. Have kind of an electric looking water type. Whalmer and Whale Lord, I think these are very lazy designs, especially this, that is literally just a child drawing a blue whale, essentially. Just taking all the details and stuff off it. It's a mid. It's not a great mid, it's just a mid. About there. And then Whalmer, I like Whale Lord I like a bit more, but still very meh. I am using this on the team currently as well, Numel and Camerupt. I had a shiny one of these as well on Pokemon Pixelmon. Don't really like the look of its first evolution, I think it looks quite derp. But it's fine. Camerupt I like a lot more, but again, it looks kind of weird. Torkoal? Are you called Torkoal? I feel like you're called Torkoal, I don't know why. If it wasn't for the weird puff of smoke and angry face, I'd like you a bit more. About there. Spoink and Grubble? Is this called Grubble? I'm trying. Grumpig, I think this is called Grumpig. Spoink. Just a derp. I feel this is what I'd draw if you said make up a Pokemon. I'd just call it something like Spoink. And I'd just draw this. I'd be like, yeah, it's a spring. Yeah, it's fine. It's just Spoink. Like, it just is Spoink. Grumpig, I don't really like Grumpig very much, to be fair. It's about there. It's just kind of Grumpig. Spinder, I really love the concept of every single one has different spots. I think that is very cool. Not high enough to get it very high, but I have always wanted a shiny one just because I know I would probably be the only person with that dot. I think there's millions of different dot combinations and stuff. If I got a shiny one of these, I love the idea that I'd be the only one that has that specific dot combination on a shiny. Trapinch, I do have a Pokemon Go shiny of as well. I got it while I was at the zoo a few years ago before the pandemic and all that. I went to a zoo and while I was walking around there was an event on for Trapinch nearby and I did end up catching myself one of these in shiny. So it does get some brownie points for being one of my shinies, but it's not high enough for me to realistically put it very high. Its evolution, Gibrava I believe you're called. I like you a bit more, you are a bit of a better bug type. Bit better than you. Wouldn't put it higher than that though. And then its last evolution, much better than its previous, but still wouldn't give it too crazy of a score. It's like second to top mid. For those of you that have watched episode 3, I believe, of the Nuzlocke, we have just found ourselves one of these boys. He has joined the party. So he's a fresh addition to the team. So I will put him... I do like him. He has a good role in the anime. I remember, I think James caught one of these in the anime and did use it. And it had quite a cool little story arc trying to teach you how to use a move. It's going decently high in B, I just don't know where. I do like it quite a bit. Probably not as much as that Pokemon, but do like it. It's nice. Definitely a step down of its evolution. It loses the whole cactus look and just kind of goes to more green hat look. It doesn't really feel like... Unless I knew what this was beforehand, I wouldn't really picture cactus when I saw this. Yeah, can't realistically put it very high. About there. It's kind of meh. Swablu and the evolved form of Swablu, I don't know what it's called. Our rival was using these on one of the runs we're doing on the Nuzlocke. Our rival did start with one of these, I believe. Looks fine, not great, probably not as good as Spoink, but it's fine. It looks the exact same when it evolves, it literally just gets a slightly longer neck and that's about it. Looks about the same. I'd probably put its pre-evolution a bit better just because it looks a bit just like... I like it having fluffy wings and not fluffy torso. Zangoose, I believe you're called? Zangies. I feel like I should like this Pokemon more, but I just don't. Its color scheme's nice. It's just, I don't know, something about this Pokemon just puts me off. About there. Seviper, really like Seviper. Cool role in the anime. Very just alright Pokemon as a whole. Yeah, I do like some Seviper. I do like me some Seviper. Higher up, higher up, higher up. Higher up than these, higher up than you, higher up than you, higher up than you. Probably the height of mid. God of War, I think I like it a bit better. Linoon? No, not the Linoon. Linoon's that one. Loon? Something Moon. I'm trying to think what you're called. You can get in the bin. You? I'm trying to think of. It's not Love Disc. That's Love Disc. Who are you then? I don't actually know who you are. I can't think of what your name is. You look alright, design-wise. I just don't remember you at all, so I don't know where I'd actually put you. I'll put you in a low... Actually, no, in terms of looks, you are cooler than some of these. I quite like the nice little clean look you've got going for you. What about there? Solrock. If you've watched episode 2 of the Nuzlocke, you'll understand this. I don't want to let that one event justify putting you in bargain bin. You look fine, but I'm still sore. Yeah, about there. Barboach and Whiscash. I do like Barboach and Whiscash, they're fine. Barboach himself is just mid, he's just a fish, but he's a fine fish, nothing wrong with him. About there, he's kind of cool. Whiscash, I really like Whiscash. I don't know what it is about Whiscash. I have always quite enjoyed Whiscash as a Pokemon. Probably put him at a high B, to be fair. We've not had many Pokemon in the A's to S, and there's been no like God tier Pokemon as of yet in this gen. This gen luckily did have really good legends, which did pull it back a bit. Corfish, I changed what I said then. I really like Corfish. I don't know what it is about Corfish. I've always really wanted a shiny Corfish. I really like Krabby and Corfish as a whole. I don't know why. I've always just had a thing for these. It's just a really nice Pokemon. I don't know what it is about it. I'd put it at a high A. Maybe even at a height of A. I just like the design of Corfish. I don't know what it is about it. I was probably a bit brash giving that an S tier. I don't know. Is that a high A tier? Probably a high A tier. I've never actually evolved a Corfish, so I don't know what its evolution's called, but it looks pretty cool. If it wasn't for the star on its forehead, I'd probably give it higher. I don't really like the star. I think the star does kind of ruin it a little. Its pre-evolution didn't have a star, so I don't really know why this one does. About there, a bit less than Beldum. Claytop and Claydol. I always thought this looked like a legendary Pokemon and was really sad to find out it wasn't, because whenever I saw pictures of it I just assumed it was, because it looks so in place with most legendaries. You do not like you at all. You look very not Pokemon-y at all. Yeah, down there. Claydol, I've always been really intimidated by this Pokemon whenever I see it. Have not had the pleasure of fighting one of these in combat much, if at all, but I have always just loved the design and always really wanted one on my team. It's a shame its pre-evolution looks so bad compared to it. Out there, I do really like you. These, I've always really hated Laleep and its evolution. I think they just... are just really bad. Pokemon Go in my area when it first came out, or when they first added the gen, just was 99% these. You'd catch about 50 of these every time you left your front door. I don't know what it was about it. They were everywhere, man. Yeah, just bad Pokemon. I really don't like these. I'd probably put these in bargain bin, to be fair. That, not quite bargain bin, but that definitely bargain bin. To be fair, I'd probably put you in bargain bin as well, looking at you. Not quite as bad as that, though. Armados, and I don't know what its pre-evolution's called. Pretty adorable with the two big kind of eyes, but low, mid. Yeah, just a about there. Evolution Armaldo's a bit cooler, but still not great. I'd probably put you about there. Feebas, now we're getting into it a bit more. Feebas I really like. I think it's a pretty clean water type overall. About there-ish. And then Milotic, a very, very good Pokemon. Probably the height of S tier. I don't know if I give it a God tier. Was very... Okay, yeah, I'll give it a God tier. Very scary Pokemon on Pokemon Diamond when you got to the champion and Cynthia was cracking out, and Milotic, that was terrifying. It was an absolute powerhouse. Plus it has stuff like Aqua Ring, so it can just passively heal while absolutely board wiping your team. Just a beautiful design for a Pokemon. This is where this generation definitely started to shine. To be fair, water types across the board this gen are quite nice. You have this one, you got this one, you got this one, that one. Like, it's water types are really nice this generation. Aren't many water types in like low tiers much. Cast form. If it wasn't for the fact it changed type per fight, it'd be in D tier, but the type change at least gives it a smidge higher. Because it does look a bit cooler when it changes. It's just, I don't like trying to use cast form. It's very annoying to plan with in battle. This chameleon, I can't remember its name. Gecko, Geckameleon, Geku something. It's fine. It's very mid. About there? Yeah, about there. It's just meh. Ooh, I forgot you existed. Shuppet and... I don't know what its evolution's called. I forgot you were a Pokemon for a second there. Quite adorable. If it wasn't for the bottom half of you, you'd be higher. I don't like the weird bottom half. It doesn't really go with the top half. And its evolution is a bit cooler. I feel like they tried redoing what they did with like Haunter and Ghastly and kind of dropped the ball a bit. Didn't really make it as cool. They tried doing a kind of different approach, but they're alright. They're okay looking. This is pretty cool. About there. Duskull and Dusknoir, one of my favourite ghost type kind of lines. I would probably put Duskull at an S tier. Did recently get a shiny Duskull on Pokemon Shield. Was very disappointed with Dusclops' shiny. I don't know why they did that. Duskull and Dusknoir are like this blood red colour, which really goes with them really, really well. And then for some reason Dusknoir goes like full blue when he evolves. I don't know why, because it was blood red, and then like a nice little like light blue kind of colour like this, and I don't know why, it just completely ruined it. I'd probably put you quite high up here, to be fair. Yeah, about there. I really like you. I wanted a shiny one forever. I'm gonna now hunt for a second shiny one of these, just so I can keep it at its second stage, and give it an Everstone so it never turns into its final evolution, because its second form just looks so much better. I don't know why they ever do that on Pokemon, where the first two evolutions stay to a pattern and then the third one completely bends the colour scheme they had going. It doesn't make any sense. What are you? I always thought you were like the max evolution of the grass starter, but I don't know what you are then if you're on your own. You look really pretty, I just don't really know what you are. About there? I can't tell with the picture being small. You look like I'd like you if you were bigger. I don't know. Chimecho. I believe you're Chimecho. Meh. It's a Pokemon. It's a Pokemon. It's a pretty alright Pokemon, I guess. It's fine. Nothing particularly cool about it. Absol. I feel like I should like Absol more. It's cool design, but it's not like immensely cool. I feel like I should probably like it more than I do. About there though. Swalot, I think you're called. I like you a lot more than Wobbuffet, but you still, just something about you, it's just, you remind me too much of Wobbuffet, who I really don't like as a Pokemon. But for now, its first evolution's fine looking, bit better than you. About there. Oh, what is your name? It's not Swinub. What is your name? It's on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember what your name is, but it'll come to me the millisecond I stop recording. Snowrun. There you go. Snowrun. I don't know. It's just like a Dorito with a face. Bit better than you. Yeah, about there. I forgot you were a thing. A bit cooler. Quite intimidating, but not overly creative. Probably about that. A bit better than you, actually. Yeah, about there. Celio, Sea Lion, and whatever the third one's called, whatever order that comes in. As I said, this was one of the only generations I didn't play out of the early generations just because I didn't own the handheld when I was a kid. You're fine. Like, this whole generation line's just kind of fine for this whole evolution. It's fine. It's fine. You're fine. Bit better, to be fair. And then last one looks a bit better again. Walrunt, I think you're called? About there. What are you? I recognize you. Don't recognize you. Don't recognize you. Are these definitely from Generation 3? You don't look very Pokemon-y. You do just look like a shell. From this angle, I can't really tell much about you, Pokemon-wise. Yeah, don't really know much else about that. You look kinda cool, but I don't know what you're called still. It's a pretty ugly Pokemon. You look a bit better, but still not great. Relicanth, about there. Love Disc, God, I'm getting to a really bad section here. It's just meh. There's nothing really to do with Love Disc. It's just kind of meh. Bagon, whatever this thing's called, and then Salamence. Like, how is this related in any way to this? Like, what? You're fine. Look like something you'd have as a pet. You're fine looking. You do not like you at all. You just don't look like a Pokemon. You are just a football that has eyes. About there. And then Salamence. Obviously, Salamence is going in a very high tier here. Oh, what's happening to my game? Not game, my scroll wheel. Accidentally put you in Bagam in there. Sorry about that, Salamence. Yep, you're an S tier. Nice, solid S tier. Never used you in a party, but I am looking forward to when I get that far in the gen. Very, very good, solid Pokemon. Beldum, Metang, and Metagross. We did find a Metagross on the Nuzlocke, but it was not our encounter for that route, so we couldn't catch it, but I would love to catch a Metagross and have one. Especially shiny. I would love a shiny one of these. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm assuming the X is going to be a nice bright colour, but I'm hoping. What I would definitely do is make this whole thing a dark grey kind of coal rock kind of look, and then have like a red kind of X across it. That'd look quite nice. Beldum. First evolution, not great. First evolution, not great. I don't like it very much. Second evolution, much, much better. Bit better than Spinder, bit better than Plusleminum, bit better than Sharpedo. Don't think I like it as much as Carvanha. And then Metagross, very, very solid Pokemon. Absolutely beautiful Pokemon. Probably put you a bit higher than Salamence. Actually, I don't know. That is a very tough call. I really like the scythe kind of blades on the wing of this. Yeah, I'll probably put you about there. Yay, the legendaries. Okay, we might actually get some S ranks here. Regirock. I like the whole Reggie line. I don't know what it was about him. Something about him just looked quite nice. Regirock, I'd probably put about there. Reggie Ice is probably my favourite out of the three. I'd put you a bit higher. They're all about the same, to be fair. Reggie Steel. To be fair, I really like Reggie Steel as well. Now I'm looking at them all side by side, to be fair. Regirock's probably my least favourite. Then Reggie Steel. Then Reggie Ice. Latios, Latias. For those of you that did watch the most recent episode of the Nuzlocke, there was quite a spicy moment with Latios and Latias, which was quite mad. Like these. I do like them in Smash Bros. Brawl when you could throw these out as like items and they would fight for you. That was quite cool. About there. I like them both about the same, to be fair. Pink one, or like the kind of like pinky red one, I like a bit better. Kyogre, I do really like me some Kyogre. Would put you in S tier, probably about there. And then Groudon is probably going to be the first Pokemon over the Maltec we put in God tier. One of my favourite legendary Pokemon of all time. I'm looking very forward to getting my hands on one. It's just pretty. It's one of the few I've seen the shinies of, and its shiny is also gorgeous. Rayquaza, maybe my favourite legendary. It's definitely up there. I've never had one either, but my friend did have a shiny Rayquaza on Pixelmon as well, which was beautiful. Very gorgeous shiny. Probably the best shiny in the game, if I'm being honest. It's just a overall beautiful Pokemon. Jirachi, I never really consider a legendary. I'm not 100% if it even still is classified as legendary. It's just something I'd expect to see in Super Mario Galaxy. Lower, about there. Deoxys, again, I've not watched the film it's in, but I have seen clips of it, and it does look very, very cool in the film it's in. I believe it does fight Rayquaza at one point as well, which is cool. For a first kind of phase of it, very nice, I do like it, and then I think it does get ruined having the alternate forms a bit. This one especially looks very ugly. I think this does ruin it quite substantially. This one, I did not even know this one was a thing. This one is very, very ugly. The arms are very thin. It makes it look so much less intimidating. And then this one, I think, fixes it a little again. Not as cool as the original, but still pretty nice. Would probably put it a bit less than Regirock, but about there-ish. Is that it? I believe that's it. Okay, that is the Generation 3 tier list. Looking forward to Generation 4, as Generation 4 is my favourite of the generations, but this is a very nice tier list. Definitely nowhere near as high as some of the Pokemon from previous gens. But the legendaries are definitely where this generation does step it up a bit. It does have some really nice legendary Pokemon and a few really solid final stage evolution Pokemon as well. Starters wise, pretty bad across the board. I don't really like any of the final forms, as you can see from the mids and B tier. But apart from that, we only have these two in bargain bin, a couple in F, a lot of Ds and mids. This episode has a lot of Ds and mids in it. And then a couple S's, and then a couple God tiers. A fair few A's, to be fair. Can't scoff at the A's. A's are quite nice. Anything in B or higher is typically a decent Pokemon for me. The second you get to about here in the B tier, this becomes the kind of like meh part of B. Anything higher than Marshtomp is kind of where I start becoming like, okay, these are ones I would actually have on a team now. But yeah, guys, that has been my Generation 3 tier list. Let us zoom out a little bit so you guys can just see the full shebang. There you go. This is my Generation 3 tier list. Stay tuned to the channel for more Pokemon tier lists. I plan on running through most, if not all, of the generations. I have not obviously played every single Pokemon game that exists. I have got Scarlet and Violet. I have not played them as of yet, as well as Arceus. I am about halfway through Arceus. Once I finish both of those, I can tier list both of their generations as well. Looking forward to those, but I will be doing up till about Gen 5 or 6 and then stopping before I get a chance to play the other ones. But the Pokemon Nuzlocke seems to be kicking off at the minute in terms of subscriber count. I believe as of recording this, I only have the first episode out on the channel. This video will come out about a month after the Nuzlocke started because I do have a lot of scheduled uploads. But only the first episode of the Nuzlocke is out as of I've recorded this, and in 4 days it's gained me 4 subs, which is the biggest spike the channel has ever had. Usually we go about 4 subscribers a month, but 4 subscribers from that one video was very nice. Thank you all so much. If you guys do like the Nuzlocke content, please let me know. I will be happy to Nuzlocke all of the Pokemon games in the franchise. I was planning on doing the first one and maybe 1 or 2 others anyway, but I would be more than happy to do as many Nuzlockes as you guys want. If you guys do like the Nuzlocke or challenge run content, or if you do have a challenge run idea you want me to tackle after the Nuzlocke, feel free to suggest it, and if enough people are on board, then I will do that. If you have a specific Pokemon you want me to run the game with, the emulator does allow stuff like choosing what your starter Pokemon is, so if you guys want to see a run of me only using, like, I don't know, like a Shuckle, or a run only using like a Geodude, just any random Pokemon, I could do those. Obviously I have like an episodic kind of series on that as well, of me trying to beat a Pokemon game only using something like a team of 6 Shuckles, or a team of Magikarp only with like Tackle and Splash, or just something stupid, something dumb. But obviously that will be until after the Nuzlocke is beat, which who knows how long that could be. In 3 episodes we have made some decent progress. This should come out after episode 3 and a bit before episode 4. As of recording this, I've only recorded 3 episodes. I'm planning on waiting a little bit now before recording episode 4, just to give the audience time to react to the first 3 episodes a bit. Please leave any suggestions for nicknames you want me to call Pokemon down below or in the comments of the Nuzlocke videos. I am taking any and all suggestions since we've not had any so far, so if you are the first person to suggest a nickname, as long as it's nothing too profanity related, I will happily nickname Pokemon in the run. Suggestions in the comments. So subscribe if you want to see more challenge runs. Follow me on Twitch if you would like to see challenge runs on other games. I'm currently challenge running games like Elden Ring, Spider-Man and Skyrim. So if you guys do want to see challenge runs on games that are not just Pokemon, please feel free to follow me on Twitch. Once challenge runs are fully finished on Twitch, I do plan on maybe editing together a compilation of the best moments from the challenge runs, but I'm not entirely sure yet since they will be 20 to 40 hours long and it will be very, very hard to edit together a good enough compilation of that without the video just being like 4 or 5 hours long. That would be a mammoth undertaking. But yes guys, thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video, which should be episode 4 of the Nuzlocke, I believe. Yes, I will see you all in the next video, but for now, peace. Thank you all for watching.